Whilst Poplar and Limehouse is an amazing place to live, it is on the front line of Conservative austerity attack. Local government and the vital public services they provide have been undermined by these cuts that have been hitting the poorest hardest, leading to the loss of key services. Even a United Nations inquiry said there were grave systemic violations on the rights of disabled people in reports to the Information Commissioner concerning the deaths of claimants following their work capability assessment, finding them fit for work. It has been clear for many years that the assessments in particular are not fit for purpose and in many cases actively harmful to the people subjected to these assessments. The regulations before the House today will be implementing a whopping real terms cut on some benefits and pensions, given that inflation is already 5.4% and that the Bank of England forecast is for 7.25% in April this year. To put it simply, this government is knowingly, yes, knowingly, going to drive more and more families, children, pensioners and some of the most vulnerable people in our society into desperation and poverty. We must not stand by and watch people go under while this government continues to both foster and scapegoat hardship by continuing to pursue measures to arbitrarily limit welfare spending, as per the welfare cap reaffirmed earlier this year. A comprehensive rescue package is what is needed. Winter fuel payments could be doubled, the £20 cut in universal credit be reinstated immediately, the VAT on household bills be scrapped, and energy companies could be taken into public ownership to ensure that rather than profits being siphoned off, money is instead spent on reducing bills for consumers. These regulations are an attack on my constituents and their way of life, and I will oppose them with all my breath and strength, because ultimately, cutting benefits and pensions today is a political choice. Fuel poverty is a political choice, and hunger is a political choice, just as austerity has and is always going to be a political choice. They're all choices to prioritise profit over people made by a callous government and inflicting brutally upon all of our communities, and they are all choices we must resist. Yet whilst the government invariably uses the language of protecting women, their programme of austerity, real terms cuts to benefits and pensions and assaults on civil liberties explicitly targets those of us most at risk: migrants, black, Asian and minority ethnic women, and Gypsy, Roma and traveller communities. My constituency has one of the highest rates of child poverty in the entire country, with too many already struggling between heating and eating. The government's recent real terms social security cut will now push even more families, children and pensioners into desperation. Does the Prime Minister agree that the biggest squeeze in household finances since records began does not come out of the blue, but is due to conservative economics and the notion that while some have the pleasure of partying, the rest of us should suffer?